Hello everyone, Nigel here with your Nigel's Modelling Bench, and I have another book review for you today, and it's not this one. If you remember, a long while ago I got this book from Wingleader Photo Archive, from Wingleader Productions, and it's Wingleader Photo Archive number 5. Author Richard Alexander, working with Ian Postlethwaite, and they've produced this wonderful book, and I reviewed it in full and I've used it many times for all my reference material, and it's absolutely brilliant. I think it's probably the best piece of reference material out there if you're looking for a Lancaster reference. And then they brought out this one, which I think was their last but one production, and this is the late production batches. So this is all your later stuff, you know, your H2S, and you'll have your later position pitot tube, all that sort of stuff, and it's all covered in there in great detail with fantastic wartime photographs, colour and black and white, and really interesting stuff. So again, a fantastic source of reference. And this is from the Wingleader Photo Archive. This is number 15. I think the last one was the Beaufighter, wasn't it? 16. No, it wasn't. It was the Typhoon, wasn't it? 16 was the Typhoon, which I reviewed. And now we've got number 17, which is this. And I know you're going to love this one. This is probably going to be one of their best sellers. This is, it says in here, there's a foreword in here from Mark Postlethwaite, and it says in here that this was one of the most requested books they get, the subject being the mosquito. So he approached a guy called Ian Thirsk, who's an expert on the subject, and he was very pleased that Ian Thirsk said yes. Ian Thirsk has actually Head of Collections and Research at the Royal Air Force Museum, and he's been a volunteer member of the de Havilland Museum's mosquito restoration team for over 40 years. Now, I met a few of you at the show at the Mosquito Museum. What a place that was. I wish this book had come out before I'd visited that museum, because then any questions I have from this book I could have answered myself there. If you haven't been, go. It's sort of north of London, a place called Salisbury. Absolutely fantastic, wonderful museum. There's lots of mosquitoes in there, lots and lots of other stuff as well, and yeah, it's just wonderful. But this book, authored by Ian Thirsk, it's number 17. It's covering the DH Mosquito Bombers. This is the early one, so this is going to be part 1, single stage Merlin variants, and it does explain in here exactly what this is all about. So what they're doing is, the obvious way was to group them by role, but even this needed to be further divided to allow the use most of the material that we had. As such, this first volume covers mosquito bombers fitted with single-stage Merlin engines. From a visual point of view, that means those without the extra intake immediately beneath the spinner. Okay, so this one I believe is just covering the Mark IVs by the look of it. It would appear that everything in here has got the glass nose, so if you're into your larger scales like 32nd scale, I think that's going to be your HK Models kit. Certainly the Tamiya is a Mark 6, and I believe the Airfix 124 scale kit as well. So if you're into your 48th and 72nd, I'm sure the sky's the limit. But with the larger scales, I've got a feeling if you want to build anything that's in here, it's going to be the HK kit for you. So, but I'm sure people will correct me in the comments below, because I'm sure you can get conversion sets. So part 1, single stage Merlins, and you can see beautiful book, beautiful images, and really worth getting hold of. I will just start by saying as well, there's your ISBN number there, you can see. Okay, there's your ISBN number, and they have held the price in this day of ever increasing prices for like everything. It's still $19.95. I would recommend getting it directly from Wingleader. I say this every time I do a book review. It comes wrapped in a bubble wrap bag, in a cardboard envelope, which is very rigid, with a piece of cardboard backing it to keep it stiff, and then that is all wrapped in an airtight plastic bag, so it can get wet, get a drop, whatever, and it remains in perfect condition. As you can see, this one is. I've knocked this corner here. I've done that. I cursed myself when I did it. So that corner there has got a slight damage on it, but when it arrives to you, it will be in perfect condition. So let's get into the book and have a look. As usual, we'll go page by page. So this is part 1, single stage Merlin variants, as I said earlier, by Ian Thirsk. So origins. We have here some beautiful imagery. This is from Salisbury, and you can see they actually had a hangar disguised as a barn. So you can see this is the early exhaust system here with the single exhaust pipe rather than having the 6 exhausts coming out the sides. They had the one single exhaust pipe. You can hear here some early testing. There's some more here, engine fitting and everything, or engine tuning. And then you can see some slats been added here, and they've got the tracers there to check for aerodynamics and everything. And then here you got some fire extinguishers or CO2 bottles, whatever. And here they're pointing out that what are they pointing out here? Left, in the left, the line of dashes between the spinner and wing leading edge are Zeus fasteners connecting the side and top cowling panels. So you can see they're big, bright Zeus fasteners. Here's the early type of undercarriage spat, so it's finishing short of the edge of the flap. And then there's the later type there, where they've actually extended it. You can see here's an interim version there, whereas that the final version, this is the interim. When you read the book, you'll know. We've got an air intake here, and then there's a fairing over the exhaust, obviously to direct the exhaust heat away from the wing. And you can see here's a close-up of the exhaust there with the fairing on it. Undercarriage legs, I remember it was amazing when I was looking at this at the museum. Parts of this are steel, and there was actually, you know, little witnesses of rust coming through where it's got damp and stuff. But I would have thought, oh, that would have been aluminium, but no, part of it was steel, part of this fabrication work. You've got a beautiful picture here in flight. This is April 41. And then here we've got a nice close-up image of the underside of a wingtip. It's showing the plastic strips inside, and then you've got the formation lights, you've got the navigation lights, and then you've got the inspection hatches there for the bulbs, and the connector obviously there for the wiring. And here, this is really interesting. I think the Mosquito must be one of the only aircraft that when we build it as a model, we build it the same as they built the real thing. I mean, here you've got a fuselage half here being worked on vertically, and then you've got the fuselage halves have come together, then they've been supported in a frame and strapped together with wooden straps with turnbuckles, just like we use rubber bands and tape and stuff. And then here, I mean, you've got the wing section there. If that doesn't look like the Tamiya kit, I don't know what does. And that all slots up into the fuselage. Absolutely beautiful. Here you can see display of obviously one of the first aircraft, the first of 9 production B4 Series 1s at Hatfield. You can see there the crowds and crowds of people. No doubt these are the people that built it, having a good old look. And then we've got the inside the cockpit. So beautiful image there. If you're building a B4, then you've got some beautiful images here of all the detail and how the chipping worked and everything. So you've got the rudder pedals down there. Very, very nice indeed. Interesting to see with these rudder pedals, they have like a fairly thick machined aluminium section to them, rather than sort of like with Edward really thin photo etched brass. So in some instances the plastic parts keep them. You've got all the controls there down on the port side of the cockpit. And here we are down in the bomb aimers area. We've got a brilliant picture coming up of the bomb aimers area in a minute, with the flat glazing there for his bomb sight. And then here you've got his controls on the right hand side or starboard side, which is very, very nice indeed. And then here we've got the pictures, images in the bomb bay. So you can see all sorts of bomb hanging equipment, and then we've got the hydraulic rams there. And here's an interesting picture. This is a TR9F transmitter aerial, or antenna should I say. You can see it's got the bits of cloth on there so you don't walk into it. That'd be interesting to feature on one of your early models, wouldn't it? And then here we've got the spoked wheels, and then here later the solid wheels. Got some air tanks here inside the rear of the fuselage, and obviously some radio equipment. That's transmitter receiver. And then we've got D and C, which are hydraulic reservoir, and the C is the de-icing fluid tank. So all interesting stuff there if you want to put that into your model, never to be seen. Here we've got some a crashed one where the undercarriage has collapsed on one side, and you can see it's broken away the spat there. And then here we've got the typical of these books. Fantastic. These are the sort of modeller's notes, and it's telling you that it's got, you know, the ducted exhaust system, no longitudinal stiffing straight on starboard side of fuselage. You know, how much detail do you need? Round tail top wheel tire. So same as the Lancaster, early ones had a round section tire, later ones had an anti-shimmy wheel. Single disc brakes with slotted main wheel hubs on port outer and starboard inner respectively. So it's all the detail there. You can see it's got interesting sort of profile there on the engines with those big shrouds around the exhaust and stuff. So and you've also got the short undercarriage nacelles there. So interesting to see a nice lineup of them there. There's 105 Squadron B4 series lined up during a press day at Marham on the 10th of December 1942. Here we've got another unfortunate crash landed example. So we've got here some, looks like a refueling equipment there or something, probably draining the fuel from it. But bit of a shame there, and you can see this one's got the extended nacelles there. Here we've got the, this is an image of one of the extended nacelles, and then here you've got the flap on the top for the, a flap on the top for checking the flap operating mechanism, and that's what you can see when you look down inside. So that's very nice if you wanted to add that detail to your model. And there's a beautiful in-flight image there. Really, really nice. Another beautiful in-flight image here. You can see we've got the extended nacelles and number 2 type tailplane, accentuating the streamlined form, it says there. Here we've got the option to have cameras in the bomb bay, so there's clear openings. You can see the windows there in the bomb bay, and if the cameras weren't being used, they were covered with duralumin sheet. And you can see here C, D and E are the identification lights, and A is, I did see it earlier, is the air thermometer beneath the nose. You've got landing lights in the wings there. Another image there, 3 of them parked up, or 4 by the look of it, one out shot. And you can see here we've got the de-icing strip around the clear part on the nose, and then you've got the flat, say the flat panel for the bomb aimer. Kind of makes me wonder, the later, like the Mark 6 and everything with the guns in the nose, they still drop bombs. So where was the bomb aimer's equipment, I wonder? Or was it just pilot's judgment? I don't know. I'm sure somebody will tell me. It's got an armour checking the fusing on their 500-pound bombs. In a Mark 4, you can see here lovely detail there of the bomb doors if you're doing yours with the bomb doors open. And there's another lovely in-flight shot. You can see here the chipping around these wing leading edges and around the engine nacelles and everything. There's hardly any paint left on that nacelle there. So very nice indeed. Beautiful shot. Beautiful image. All your streaking oil and everything. You can see here now we've gone to the later type of exhaust with the shrouds. Very, very nice indeed. And then here's some images of the engines in the factory while the aircraft's being built. And it's saying of here, of note is the cowling panel ring. We've got the teardrop shaped canopy observation blister, much like a Lancaster there in the canopy. Direction finding loop, C, that's in the back of the canopy. KI glass priming pump access door, D. And then engine hand crank point, E, plus the starboard engine right magneto, F. So as you can see with these Merlin engines, basically paint them black, do the magneto silver, there you go. You will see some engines in dark grey, they are post-war. And then you have the engine header tank there, and there's some other bits and pieces all around the engine bay there, so some lovely pictures there of the plumbing and everything. Shame they're not colour, but hey, very nice indeed. This I think is a lovely picture. This one here, we have the nose section during the build in the factory, and this to me is fantastic because it shows the bracket there for the aiming equipment. You've got the bracket here that holds the oxygen tank for the emergency oxygen for the bomb aimer. We've got the bag up here for cables. We've got the writing pad there, number 2. We have here the armrest for the bomb aimer while he's doing his writing. And then these circles, which are so prominent on accurate scale models, and they are actually, I'll read what it says in the description. Visible on the starboard side of the cockpit walls are several circular shaped discs known as ferrules. Designed for attaching interior fittings to the fuselage, ferrules comprised a plywood disc mounted on an ebonite or wood plug. Within the plug, a threaded brass insert was set with its open end in the disc centre. The ferrules are fixed by tacks through the plywood disc. So there you go. So I've seen people remove them, thinking they're actual ejector pin marks or something, but they're actually, because it's all made of wood, they're actually mountings for mounting equipment. So very interesting. So a lovely picture there, really, really nice. Beautiful picture for your interior detail. Again, shame it's not colour. Here we've got the Tamiya 1/32 scale wing being added, as you can see, pulling the wing up through. That's just like the real thing. And more assembly pictures there. Very, very nice indeed. Going over the page here, we've got tail wheel. You can see we've got the anti-shimmy wheel there, and then we've got the formation nav lights. These were removed later on, and then we've got an access panel there, another access panel there, and another access panel there. And then here we've got the stiffening rib, which was added. Obviously there was cracking or whatever happening, so that's that stiffening piece put in there. And then here we can see the trailing edge of the wing has got some damage there, which is unfortunate. And then we can see here detailed photograph picking up detailed things here. So we've got the fabric covered elevators with the standard units inspection panel at 1. In January 44, Mod 284 was introduced, replacing fabric covered elevators with metal skinned units on all variants of Mosquito, with the exception of the PR1 and Mark IV Series 1. The bulge on the tail cone is the fairing for the elevator's static balance weight. So they kept those internal. Interesting. Here we can see some more images here. We've got some detail photos there. Again, lovely side-on image showing that stiffening piece put in again. And then here we've got the modeller's notes again. So fairing fitted to windscreen, de-icing jet nozzle on nose upper surface, just like the Lancasters. They had it. Inconel heat resistant panel inserts on engine side cowlings after exhaust shrouds, as you can see there. So very nice. And there's that TR9 antenna lead there going up to the main aerial, as you can see it there. Some more lovely in-flight shots, and then some shots on the ground. I much prefer these wheels to the flat wheels. They look much nicer, don't they? Lovely in-flight shots. Very, very nice indeed. And we can see one here. It looks like they're coming down on a carrier deck. Yeah, HMS Implacable in 1944. So there she is. And there's those antennae I was asking about in my Art Royal review. Everyone's told me they're actually antennae that were lowered while the aircraft were in action. So thank you to all of you who responded. And then here we can see some more. There's another early engine exhaust. So this is the whole chapter here on exhaust. And then we've got the exposed exhaust there, with half of the exhaust coming out the back by the look of it. Then we've got the saxophone exhaust system, flame dampening shroud attached to the engine side cowling. And then we have left, it was unusual to see 6 exhaust stubs on the engine outboard side of British built single Merlin Mosquitoes. So that's unusual to see apparently. And then upper right, a late production B4 Series 2 showing the standard 5 stub exhaust layout on the engine outboard side. So there we go. Then we can see some more exhaust bits and pieces there. Oboe. First Mosquito to be equipped with oboe was a B4 Series DK300 of 109 Squadron, Stratus Hal in July 42. Precision blind bombing system enabling accurate attacks through cloud cover. Interesting. Here we can see all the painted over nose section. Interesting. I think that's the only Mosquito in this book that doesn't have a clear nose, I think. And then we've got the Series 2 cockpit here. Again, with all the controls labelled out, again with those thick aluminium section rudder pedals by the look of it. And then we've got cockpit development. You can see here we've got the blister on the side. You can see we've got the blister there, and then down here the blister has gone. Here we can see a tailplane, a rudder completely missing, unfortunate. A couple of blokes with their bikes having a look. Watch out for the cats, guys. And then over the page here, lovely picture looking on at the spinner across some tanks, and you've got some cans, should I say, some Mosquitoes in the background. Lovely busy photograph there with some work being done. You see here the photograph, the camera doors. You can see once again there's the camera doors. So we've got a larger window in that one. 627 Squadron, Pilot Officer JGD Platts and Navigator CG Thompson, posed with a Mark IV Series 2. And here we've got our modeller's notes again, which is very nice. I love this part of these books. And then here we've got a lovely image looking alongside the sort of pilot's legs, if you like, looking down through the bomb aimer area, which is lovely. Nice clear photograph there, Sir Peter. It's very nice. Lots to come yet. And then here we've got this has obviously gone into night fighting now, or night bombing. So we've got the black undersides with the green and grey uppers. Finding it hard to get these pages. Right, and then here we've got a lovely hangar image and a lovely close-up image of a day bomber. And here we've got some bulge Bombay doors, so this is carrying the cookie, and that is an option I know you get in the HK kit, so if you've got that one you could build this model from it, or this aircraft. So we've got bulge doors for the cookie. You can see here again there's those bulge doors. And then this is looking aft along the port side of the Bombay, so you see some plumbing work going on in there. And here we've got a cookie. Guys there proud of their cookie, and then there's a cookie being loaded into the Bombay. If you've got the Border Models Lancaster kit, the cookie in that is much nicer than the HK Models cookie, so I would recommend using that. So we've got the Canadian B20 and 25. It's obviously built by the Canadians. You can see some here all lined up. The snow and everything in the background. That's in Nova Scotia in February 44, so there's no wonder there's snow in the background. The Saskatchewan. This is the again Canadian. I almost said Lancaster. Canadian Mosquitoes again, building them to their heart's content. So we've got Saskatchewan, and then we've got New Glasgow. We've got Acton. So they gave them all names. That's Ontario, that's Nova Scotia, that's Saskatchewan. So obviously they had 3 main factory areas there. I'll probably tell you more about it in the book. And here you can see New Glasgow there being loaded up with some bombs. The typical Mosquito treaded tyres there. And then here we go, Hatfield, August 43, as delivered from Canada. So that's how she arrived. Looking very, very beautiful. KB162, that rings a bell. And then we've got a lovely cockpit image. Again, we've got these thick section rudder pedals by the look of it. They don't look like they're folded, they look, they're actually, I'm not sure. And then here you've got an image looking down into the top again. That's down on the starboard side. And then here we've got the generator, or hydraulic pump, whatever it is, down the port side of the engine. Lovely view there, showing you some oil splashes and some exhaust staining. Very, very nice indeed. Here we've got that stiffener again. And then we've got the tail cone there with the lights on it. And then here we've got a lovely image, opposite page, 5th batch of B-20s on the Downs View production line in April 44. So there we go. Lovely. 2 guys there not doing anything. Come on guys, get on with it. Very, very nice. And then we've got an Atlantic record breaker there. These are obviously still all the Canadian lengths, as you can see the snow. Lovely close-up image of the rudder there with the detail you can see. Very, very nice indeed. KB660, London, Ontario, Canada, April 1945. Again, as delivered. Again, with all your modeller's notes, discussion points and everything. Lovely. And there's another unfortunate one. This one I did read up on. It had an oxygen tank actually exploded in the back of the fuselage. It knocked out one engine, knocked out the undercarriage, so it was a crash landing, and luckily the guys were okay. Here we can see one here with bulge Bombay doors. No smoking in any time, not even during your break. So there we are, and that's RAF Whitton. And there's a lovely wartime colour image. Was retained in Canada for the training of Mosquito air crews. Seen here while on the Strength 36 OTUC's flight at Greenwood. Operative Training Unit, I guess that is. And then de Havilland Mosquito bomber production batches, single stage Merlin variants. British, was the B4 series PRU bomber conversion, and then you've got the B4 series 2. Okay, and then the Canadians did the 7, the 20 and the 25. So there we are. And I can tell we're out because it's page 80. I don't know if you ever noticed, I only noticed this just now. Every one of these books, every one of these 3, has 80 pages. So I don't know if that's on purpose or what. But, there we go. The lovely images on the back that you can find inside the book. So there we go, guys. That has been a review of this beautiful book by Ian Thirst. Can't wait to see the next ones. Mosquito is a favourite of mine. And I think when we see the Mark 7, or the Mark 6 should I say, I'm going to really look forward to finishing off my Tamiya kit, because there's going to be lots and lots of stuff in there that I can add to it. So I think when that one comes out, I will finish off my Tamiya kit. My Tamiya kit, if you haven't seen it, the engines are built, the undercarriage is built, and the wings are built. I did it backwards, and now I have all the fuselage and the cockpit and everything to do. So there we go. So that's been a review of that book. This is Wingleader Photo Archive number 17. As I say, get on over to their website. It's down there, wingleader.co.uk, and order yourself a copy. It is worth it. I mean, when you look at magazines these days, they cost nearly a £5. What a bargain that is for 20 quid, you know? It really is well worth having. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and hope you enjoyed it, should I say. Give us a like. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe as well. Bye for now.